Thank you for starting your day with Compassion's morning meditation. I'm Pastor W. Lonnie Herndon. Listen to this word from the Lord.
Greetings. Thank you for joining us for Compassion's morning meditation. My name is Phaedra Anderson, and the scripture for today is Psalm 40, verses 1 through 5, which reads, I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. He put a new song in my mouth, a hymn of praise to our God. Many will see and fear the Lord and put their trust in him. Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, who does not look to the proud or to those who turn aside to false gods. Many, Lord my God, are the wonders you have done and the things you planned for us. None can compare with you. Were I to speak and tell of your deeds, they would be too many to declare. In this psalm, David was telling how he was in a devastating situation. He describes that situation as a muddy pit and a mire, and that's something that comes to impede one's progress. It's the situation that comes to stop one from moving forward. It causes one to not be able to put one foot in front of the other. But David also goes to tell us how to get through these overwhelming situations, because God never promised us that we wouldn't go through, but he did promise us that with him we would get through. And that's something I believe that we often forget. So this morning we're going to have a little self-talk. So I want you to put it in the chats, but I also want you to say this along with me. Say, self, God never promised you that you wouldn't go through, but he did promise that with him you would get through. Remember that in Psalm 34:19 it says, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers them out of them all. So first we have David saying that he waited patiently on God. He had a made up mind that regardless of how stuck he was going to wait on God intently and intentionally. And second, we have David cried, he prayed, he called out to God with an expectancy that God was going to answer and deliver. So there we have a piece of God that was in the wait, but we also see that there was the rest of God that came with the wait, because David knew from experience that although he was going down, that he served a God that wasn't going to let him go under. And that's what I came to tell someone today, that you have a God that's not going to let you go under. I know the bills are piling up right now, but you serve a God that's not going to let you go under. Psalm 40 verse 2 says, he lifted me out of the slimy pit. He lifted me out of the mud and mire. And I know the doctor's report wasn't favorable, but you serve a God that's not going to let you go under. I know that you can't see yourself out right now, but baby, you serve a God that's not going to let you go under. And I need someone to put it in the atmosphere that I serve a God that's not going to let me go under. And then thirdly, it says that David remembered well. And remember well means to recall, to express, to have a vivid memory of how God defeated your enemies and delivered you in the past. By the time we get to Psalm 40, verse 5, David is reminding himself of God's track record. He's remembered the strong hand of God in his life. So when troublesome times come your way, beloved, there are three things that we must remember to do. One, pray to God. Cry out to God and get his attention. 2, wait on God with the assurance that he's going to come and deliver. And 3, remember well. Remember God's track record and never allow the circumstances to make you forget that you have history with God. Somebody say that with me. I have history with God. But say it until you feel the weight of what's coming out of your mouth. I have history with God. And the same God that delivered you then, the same God that kept you in 2020, the same God that kept you in 2021 is the same God that's going to keep you from going under. So remember well. Thank you for joining us for Compassion's morning meditation. We are here every day at 7 a.m. Be blessed.